Last week, Peter said, do you really want to live in a world where Davis and Soccer Dave are right about the same thing? When we try to convince him that Greg Dortch was indeed a good play. And I just want to say, yes, we are living in a world. Things change. People can change. Things can get better. Or as the Titans have demonstrated, things can get worse. I'm going to issue a challenge this week to Peter to step his game up. We've got Dan providing key insights. We've got Davis and I just giving the plays, playing the hits each and every week. And so week 3, we need a little bit of a comeback. It's do or die season for Peter Overzet next on the Swolecast here on RotoGrinders.com.
Please don't dupe me, bro.
I'm begging you, don't dupe me, bro.
It's the poop narrative.
Mitch's been waiting to say those words.
No.
For 5 years.
Welcome, everyone, to the Swolecast here on RotoGrinders.com. Soccer Dave alongside Tuttle, Mr. Tuttle 05, Dan Gaspar. We've got Davis Mattek on the show and Peter Overzet. And Peter, I hope you don't mind. I issued a challenge, and I hope you're willing to step up this week.
Yeah, I think that's like the closest I'm going to get to a performance review on this show. So I hear you loud and clear. And I have stepped up my game for this week, Dave. I hear you. I am very open and receptive to constructive criticism and feedback. And I'm going to up it up today.
Yeah,
Wait,
what's
Peter
the challenge?
One to suggest Geno Smith and Cash last week?
No. That was...
Yeah.
No, Peter was the one who said he didn't want to play Jalen Waddle, I think.
For
What are you
Tyreek
talking
Hill.
about?
We said Tyreek over.
I think Dan actually was the leading Jalen Waddle fudder.
Over Tyreek Hill, who scored more points.
I will say that we lived a little in cash last week and lived to tell the tale. 2-0 this week.
Did you play the donkey Nate Noling team with double punt wide receivers?
Except
have fun staying poor, Dave.
I took a zero.
Campbell.
I took a 0 playing Paris Campbell.
My Lord.
But you know who I did play?
Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Lamar Jackson.
Oh my! How did you even on DraftKings.com?
Yeah.
What was this abomination? I can't even. I can't.
Hearing you tilt
we should have had you.
the
We should have had you
Takecast.
on the Gilcast. Honestly,
Yeah,
we should have had you on the Gilcast.
On the Gilcast, that was hearing you and Sammy go back and forth about your egregious line decisions. I'm just.
I mean, we didn't make egregious decisions. We made one egregious decision, and it abs. I mean, and then I made like 900 egregious decisions late swapping, but it is what it is.
All right.
Can I also say why we're recapping that our team has once again cashed in the Frito-Lay's Snaps and Snacks series? I mean, this lineup that we build is just on fire.
We went with, for those that don't know, we went with it was Tua, right? Was it Lamar or Tua? It was Tua and
I think it was Lamar. I think
It was
we did
Lamar, Andrews, and Tyreek coming back. I think
and then Tyreek coming back, and then Amon-Ra in the flex spot.
Yeah.
So
Alpha
was pretty sick. We're gonna get to all the best plays here in a second. Just a few housekeeping notes. We took a big step on a road to 10K. Week 1, we went from 3,900 to 4,000. Week 2, 4,000 to 4,100. So keep hitting that like button.
The road to 4,000 to 10,000, baby.
If you're watching the show, just know you are so early.
David will give away a Darius Garland mom if we hit 10K.
Everyone's giving those away now. When do we flip the RotoGrinders main YouTube channel? I mean, that has to be our goal, guys.
Yeah, I think it's 57,000 for the main RG. So it's doable for sure. So yeah. Also, we've got lineup HQ. People know that like optimizers kind of changed the game for DFS. Well, the same has happened now with Parlay IQ. It's over on Scores and Odds, but basically you can create parlays and single game parlays and then enter them directly into FanDuel. It is such a nice touch. So it's a really good experience, especially on mobile. Go check that out. Again, completely free. Something for the people. All right. Let's get into this week 3 slate. How excited are you, Pete, to get back? Like, are you kind of dreading it, or like, are you ready to tackle this slate?
I'm ready to tackle it, Dave. It was like when you said you thought I was going to get bored drafting best ball teams at the end of the summer, and I said, no. Every week I come to the new slate filled with vim and vigor, and I believe this was a soft intro to Pete's Overzet overview of the week, so I will enter that. We have 2 games with a total over 50 this week with Detroit, Minnesota, and Buffalo, Miami. We also have Indianapolis, KC, and the Rams and the Cardinals knocking at the door around a 49-point over-under. I will say the pricing is pretty tight this week, Dave, especially at QB. I think we could see a lot of people paying down with Cousins, Mariota, Stafford. All the best running back plays look like our least favorite running backs, Fat Lenny, David Montgomery, Josh Jacobs. Now's the time to play them because Lord knows we didn't draft them. At wide receiver, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, still way too cheap. He's going to end up being mega chalk. I think people are going to also like Diggs and Kupp on the higher end. And tight end is a desolate wasteland that only the Swolecast will be able to help decode. That is, of course, your Overzet overview of the week.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about right there.
That's
good.
Clip it.
Davis, you are preoccupied right now. After 8 years doing the show, I know that you are doing something right now. What is it?
I'm not going to tell you.
What is it? You are doing something right now, but you are not into the show. I need you to get your head into.
No, I was trying to not not interrupt Pete during the Overzet's overview for the first time in the history of the show. And
that
also
was growth for you, David. That was growth.
So 1, I'm doing that, and then 2, obviously arguing with my co-managers about if we should or should not smash a bid on Tua in a league where we have Russell Wilson and the rest of the team is good enough to win $1 million. So the cost of getting quarterback wrong could be very high.
Yeah, we did get some things wrong last week. Angry Russ narrative, not a thing. So that was definitely
he could have been angry. There would have just been no way of knowing because they were just too busy getting delay game penalties.
Oh, jeez, man, you look at what's happening in Miami and how excited we are about this offense. Just everything, there's a million different graphics out there, over expectation graphics. With the situation in Denver, it's just bad, man. It feels really bad compared to like what we came in wanting to see.
Correct. Very professional analysis of you there. John DiLeonardo, you're not wrong. I have been pumping iron, but I'm also just super fat right now. Yeah. I'm about as fat as I've ever been. I've been eating whatever and lifting weights and not doing cardio. So
yeah. And what has changed this season from last season, Davis?
Well, I was doing cardio really hard last year.
Nope.
I'm married.
Yeah, married.
Yeah,
you're phoning it in now.
I'm telling you.
No, I just got so obsessed with lifting more and more weight, adding weight on.
Someone commented last week as well. Also, people in the comments last week, by the way, we do appreciate the comments, said they're asking who's Swole on this show. Why is it called Swolecast? And just to take people behind the scenes, way back in the day, there's a guy, Evan Silva. He used to be a pretty popular fantasy football. He wrote like an article every week on RotoWorld, and he said pockets on Swole, and then from there, I think I came up with Swolecast. Who's counting though?
And now he just blurbs every game.
Now he just does whatever he wants.
When he used to grind, actually.
Oh man. So I think right now he just picks on Leone. That's
Dave. Look, it's enough. We're 10 minutes into the show. Come on, dude. Give the people what they want. We need some cope. Come on, give us some cope, dude. Come on. It's been 10 minutes.
How are your Titans doing, man?
Yeah, how are they doing, man?
I was already off on them last week. If you heard me,
producer, I think we need to go back and check the notes on that.
After that week one, there is some obvious like issues here with the offensive line.
Boots on the ground. When do we see Mr. Willis as the starting quarterback?
I was ready for him second half last week. Like,
everyone was ready.
Here's the thing: any other division, any other conference,
it's like already done.
Like,
yeah,
it's done. But the AFC South, like, there's still somehow Indy's still the favorite there. Titans second favorite. Jags like plus 300. But as long as I
think the Jags moved to like 2-1 actually.
Monday it was plus 300. Titans were 180 and Colts were 150.
It's just Dan Bach now that he has legal sports gambling.
Trust me, I did look, and I'm like, what's this line at? But the offensive line's in shambles. Play calling is absolutely egregious, and that's something that we're having to cope with. Not just here, not just in Tennessee for Titans fans, but also fantasy fans that thought that maybe Robert Woods and Treylon Burks would get
drafting Robert Woods over Treylon Burks. Have fun staying poor. Call of the year.
That Kitchen, the lone bright spot on this Titans team is the inevitable ascension of Treylon Burks. He's a full grown ass man, and you were caping for Robert Woods and Kyle Phillips.
You capitulated. He capitulated at the end. He capitulated at the end. Do not let him get away with this. Our last best ball show
was my highest player.
Nope. At the end, you started touting Robert Woods and Kyle Phillips.
My process was right.
Dave, you want a stat? Treylon Burks leads all rookies in yards per route run, more than Wilson, more than Olave, more than Dotson. Has more and win a bar bet on this one, more receiving yards than Jahan Dotson too.
Yeah, well, they're tough scenes still right now in Tennessee after that game. Like, that game was like exceptionally bad, where it got to be almost entertaining when they're just fumbling on every possible way to fumble. They figure it out, but not just for Titans fans, but for fantasy fans that drafted the Titans players and like Bears, right? And maybe even obviously Niners. Like, we're having to deal with play calling. We talked about the Broncos. Tuttle, where are you at as far as coaching changes and play calling stuff just messing things up?
So I'm probably I know I'm in the minority. I still think Nathaniel Hackett's going to be all right. I think it's just
Green Bay Cope.
Yeah, it might be the Green Bay connection. I think it's gonna be all right. The offense would look amazing if they actually scored when they were in the red zone, right? Like they've gotten the ball there. It's been bad. The time management has been terrible. That's obvious. That's a thing. I think it will eventually be all right.
Okay. And Pete, as far as like play calling, like the Bears, people that drafted Mooney, can you touch them at all? The three little Bears stacks.
No, they're running like a 1930s NFL offense with like
they're running the wing
helmets.
T.
Yeah, they play every game like there's 90-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Like, it is just an absolute disaster. And like David Montgomery sucking out because they're running like a high school style offense is just so absurd.
They're literally running at like the highest clip I have ever seen. Like third and six, they're running like halfback dives.
But this week is a lot. Week 2 kind of sucked. This is why I played Lamar, just because there wasn't a lot of like just elite quarterbacks on the slate, and I felt like that leverage would get me over all the car normies. But this week we get Patrick Mahomes back. We get Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, all these guys we didn't have last week. It's going to be a fun quarterback slate, Pete.
Yeah. I don't know about fun, but I mean, because a lot of the guys that are values are guys you don't typically get excited about. Cousins, Stafford. I mean, there's not much
Goof.
sexy.
Goof. Is chalk Jared Goof? Like, is it going to be the most predictable 180 passing yard, 1 passing touchdown game of all time?
Yeah. I mean, or do we just martingale Mariota to Pitts just one last time for funsies?
I mean, I will be having fun staying rich playing a 4% owned Patrick Mahomes. Like, it's the easiest decision I'll ever make for my main single entry stuff.
7,900 in this economy.
Yeah, but Juju is what, 57. MVS is free. Hardman's free. I mean, and then you can martingale Pitts at 4,800 and just hope he outscores Kelsey.
Is your thought too that it's just like the Chiefs, we don't have to rely on the Colts to push them because they'll just throttle the gas no matter what the game script is?
I mean, my take would be is that we're going to see some pretty cowardly 250 passing yard, 2 touchdown performances from Mahomes when they play good teams, when they play the Bills, when they play the Chargers again. Those are going to be bad Juju games, like you're not even going to want to touch MVS in those games. They're going to they're going to play like the Broncos, right? Run the play clock down to 0, but against the Cardinals and the Colts and the Jaguars and like all these terrible teams, yeah, they're just going to go nuts.
Hey, Tuttle, can I ask you a question just about pricing? Because it does seem like this is the week where pricing has been adjusted. Is this possibly a 2 tight end week?
No.
Has it ever been a 2 tight end?
When has it ever been?
Yeah. No, you guys are. It's been 2
What
tight
tight ends
weeks.
are you even going to want to play here, though?
Like cheap tight ends, like Irv and another cheap tight end, so you can play some.
You do get a little bit of it in optimals because of Irv and TJ Hawkinson, just because of the total of that game. But I would not play that in any format.
Like, who are the value plays? You're the value play experts. All your expert filters on.
I actually don't do the value expert filter. Thanks for noticing this year, David. I appreciate it. Olave at 4.5 is probably the guy that's
and Jacobs.
Jacobs is cheap enough. Yeah. There's some other cheapish guys. I think a more balanced build is what you're going to see. I don't think you're going to like Brandon Cooks 5.8, David Montgomery 5.9. You'll see a balanced build, not some stars and scrubs. I mean, who are you trying to jam in that's high priced?
Just Cup.
Yeah, it'll be a balance.
People are going to get real excited about Russell Gage as the week moves on. I'll call that right now.
Oh, man.
4,700.
Imagine being the guy who's trying to martingale the 6th round Russell Gage he added in the offseason.
All right. Talking about quarterbacks, Tuttle, who are some of the other quarterbacks that you like this week?
So Davis's projected ownership wasn't as bad as it was last week, but I did have written down. I do have written down that Kansas City might get overlooked here, surprisingly.
I guarantee they will because the Buffalo, Miami.
Yeah, everybody's going to chase the Buffalo, Miami game again. Detroit, Minnesota. I think those will be the first 2 stops. There's no fun bring back in the Indianapolis game, really, which you guys kind of already discussed, which again, kind of.
Doolin? Can I interest you in some Ashton Doolin?
Yeah. And by the way, if you play Paris Campbell over Ashton Doolin, you just don't get it.
Yeah.
Maybe reevaluate your process.
Yeah. By the way, Paris Campbell was more expensive.
Paris Campbell.
He was 3.7.
Paris Campbell over Richie James is like you haven't followed the NFL. You don't know what's going on award of the year.
Yeah, but I like Mahomes quite a bit in tournaments. I think the most popular bring back would obviously be Pittman if he's available. I think people will
he's
go
expensive.
With he's 6'8", but people will go also the Kelsey route, which I think it's fine, obviously. But if you just pair him, if you double stack him with 2 wide receivers instead of going the Kelsey route, I think that's my preferred approach. And then you could bring it back. If you wanted to bring back from Indianapolis, you go like a Kylan Granson for really cheap. And that makes things work. So, yeah, I like Mahomes quite a bit for tournaments.
Okay. Pete, if you had to choose one quarterback among all these elite quarterbacks, who would it be?
Among elite? I'm probably just playing Jalen Hurts. I mean, what more do we need to see from him? He's giving you 15 points a game just via rushing, and everything else on top of that is just total gravy. They look like one of the best teams in football. Weapons bursting from the seams.
Aren't you worried? Aren't you worried about that amazing Jack Del Rio defense?
Oh, is it who's Jack Del Rio? I'm not familiar.
He's like a total lunatic who's been one of the worst defensive coordinators in the league for like 20 years. He's like a true moron.
He used to be the coach of the Jags, I think.
I do remember that actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you guys say is guys like Kyler, Lamar, all going to go overlooked this week.
Yes. Yeah, because a huge chunk of quarterback ownership is going to be Josh Allen and Tua and Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff. I would estimate that those four guys in the SPY are going to take up a minimum of 50% of the quarterback ownership, potentially more.
Like Kyler, I've just had to reorient how we think about him because he has a nice floor, but the ceiling with Cliff Kingsbury right now is just not there. And he just doesn't have the weapons to get there. I just don't see how he accesses a 30-plus point ceiling in this offense.
I saw a pretty good breakdown. I wish I could. It was some Athletic article, I think, about how they have started out each of the last 2 weeks, the Chiefs game and the Raiders game, doing like Chicago Bears stuff, like two tight ends, like super heavy, not stretching the field. And then once they get down 2 touchdowns, Cliff is like, well, Kyler, you go figure it out. And then they go 4 wide, 1 running back, all, pre-snap motion and stuff. And then Kyler figures it out. So it's maybe there's an adjustment there and maybe they figure it out, but thinking that Cliff is going to figure it out is probably not going to happen.
Hey, Dave, Gino?
Yeah.
I wanted to make they're going to let Gino cook.
Gino got Dave got so excited.
No, I was just presenting the option. As a host, I don't have contrary to popular belief, I don't have all the answers. I just kind of ask questions.
What?
Okay.
I
had no idea.
I will say, back in the day, my bit was in cash. Like any sort of obscure quarterback in cash. I've changed it now. It's not like just a low price guy. You've got to be an athletic quarterback for me to roster you in cash. I will not roster non-athletic quarterbacks.
So were you playing Tua in cash this week?
Well,
yeah. Where does Tua fall?
Athletic.
Yeah, I don't think he is either.
Steven Ruiz tweeted this, I think. To be considered a rushing quarterback, you have to be able to do the Romo move where you make the edge rusher who comes in unblocked missed. And I don't think Tua has ever done that once in his career.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think Tua would fit in here, but I would look at Mariota. We've talked about him just because of his floor. And there's another guy too, but if I say it, you guys are just to
Wentz.
Oh my God. Who are you going to say? I'm terrified.
Is it Wentz?
I said an athletic quarterback.
It's going to be athletic, so it's going to be
Fields. Wentz is a mega athlete.
It's going to be Fields.
It's Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I mean, he is athletic, but we already mentioned the wing
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't have to if he breaks one. I mean,
here's the thing.
All they're doing is running.
Your methodology falls through when you.
You're ecstatic if he gets 20 is the problem.
Dave, the quarterback position is not. This is not like you get away with Deshaun Kaiser's 18 points anymore. Like quarterbacks are like routinely putting up 35. Like the winning scores in cash. Like
Davis, I know. I played Lamar last week.
Okay, how are you going from playing Lamar
to Mahomes in week 1? So I get that. I'm presenting some options there to you. I think Lamar is still in play this week as well.
Wow, how brave of you.
Well, you're saying that he's not.
I am absolutely not saying that.
You're scared of Bill, and I'm just saying that there are more options than I feel like what you guys are saying.
I just want to tell the audience, this is kind of one of those things, like, don't try this at home. Like Dave has this superhuman skill where he can identify 4 different punt plays on the slate to justify playing 8K for his quarterback. Us mere mortals aren't able to do that, but
aren't able to decipher what a smash Greg Dortch is whenever there's literally no other options on the Cardinals.
People are going to play Kirk Cousins in cash games. How do you feel about that, Dave?
I don't like it. I mean, I don't like it. I didn't like Carr playing it last week either. So
Cousins is too expensive. We do currently have him projected as the third highest owned. I don't know if I see it.
I haven't ran a ton of optimals yet, but generally speaking, the highest team total quarterback is just who flows into optimals.
Right.
The one thing you said, Davis, that I didn't see when I was running optimals, I don't see Jared Goff being chalk.
No, I don't see that either.
I mean,
people will play. I actually think it will be his ownership will get inflated in tournaments for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, I'm not. People will not play Goff in cash, but people like Goff will be. I would bet even money over 8% in this spy.
Everyone running Goff, Amon-Ra, bring it back with Justin Jefferson. That's the chalk tournament build.
Irv Smith, actually, probably as the corollary there.
Hey, David, I do want to give you some credit, and somebody mentioned it in chat. I think this is an okay take. Marcus Mariota.
It's actually a very good spot for him.
It's a good spot. I know I bashed Geno, but I kind of do think they have been passing at a higher rate than expected. I think it's like 8th on the season. So I think that's the kind of shitty game that could end up surprising people. And everybody's so cheap in it that you can fill out the rest of your lineup pretty well if you stack that game.
Okay,
this is the week they throw to Kyle Pitts.
Oh, boy,
dude, I'm just full going down with the ship. Like someone in my YouTube comments was like, "You can play Kyle Pitts. I'm done with it." And I was like, "Dude, I'm going down with this ship."
The issue is Drake London's still too cheap.
Yeah.
So cheap.
And is a gam, like a full gam.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Can you double stack
DFS?
Tuttle, do you think you can double stack Mariota or no?
You would have to do a bring back. You would have to you would have to play Lockett or Metcalf with him.
I do think they're cheap enough where it's not like terrible, but probably not optimal.
All right, let's create the DraftKings lineup. Peter, you mentioned it. We've absolutely crushed the snacks and chips contest. What are we entering today?
Oh, yeah. No, we're going to keep it rolling. We're going 3 for 3 Frito-Lay Snaps and Snacks series. It is free to enter. Please don't dupe us. Let me just check how much money we have up top this week. $1,000. I mean, DraftKings sliding over some of that Rainmaker money to us DFS fish. How nice of them.
Yeah, I did see that DK running a Bored Ape giveaway this week in the Rainmakers contest.
You guys should have tuned in last March when Dave was running a Bored Ape giveaway.
All right. Let's keep this focused on what we have. Our lineups are going to the moon and not our birds or our cats. Thanks
for tossing in the birds there, Kitchen. I appreciate that.
No way. Oh, man. No way I'm selling for 40K. You kidding me?
No, dude. I'll just nest it.
Do you know what utility? Do you know what utility this is?
Dude, you should see these socks I got.
Dude, the alpha in the Moonbirds Discord. I got in on this. I don't even have. I forgot all my funny NFT names.
Guys, the only birds I want to talk about this week are the Eagles. So let's.
That's right. All right, Peter, let's start it. Oh man, Peter, you were doing so good this episode. I'm so proud of you.
I heard you, man. I knew I had to step it up. You know what though? Let's go with it. We talked about it. We're gonna see if we're gonna double stack it or what. But let's get Marcus Mariota in there. Birds of a feather.
I like how you took Mariota so that I couldn't immediately snap Mahomes in.
Well, here's the other thing, Dave. Did you also like how I didn't just toss in a double stack with a bring back for my one selection?
Okay, here's the thing.
I did one pick.
Hold on, Pete. That was being a coward, is what I think, because you didn't want to have to choose.
I told you I was fucking martingaling Pitts. Put in Pitts. I'm being nice.
All right. I didn't think you wanted to say it. I didn't think that you'd be, I guess we don't have enough money for Pitts.
Oh, I'll say it.
Okay, so there we go.
Done.
All right, we're paying $4,800 for Pitts 3 routes this week. All right, let's go, Davis.
Why would I don't understand how your nag on Pitts was he only is going to run 3 routes. The better nag would have been that he is running wind sprints. I will take Juju Smith-Schuster for $5,500.
Such a Davis play.
This is a Davis play. Just wait till I get running back. All right, Dan.
I'm going to chalk donkey it up. When I looked at the slate, there was only one guy that I thought was a lock. It's Leonard Fournette.
Wow.
Yeah, he is a lock.
Yep.
Just his usage last week, like if that game wasn't just an absolute low-scoring baseball type game, if you had that same usage this week, you would be ecstatic, right?
Yes, you would.
They're not interested in using Rashad White unless the game's out of hand. Basically.
Well, they were. He dropped a very important
pass.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's a bad drop. All right. Boy, this is it's going to be an interesting week for wide receivers. I'm not going to play any Titans, I don't think. So I just feel like there's so many options, but I'm going to go back to the well with this guy. I'm going to go with Tyreek.
7,600 Tyreek, huh?
I mean, he was only 7,100 last week, and he got 40.
Not Waddle, huh?
No, I would much rather Tyreek over Waddle.
All right.
All right.
So by Sunday, I'll talk myself off this play, but today we play the best plays. We are on a trajectory where this man is going to be our generation's Cooper Kupp. He's going to be like 8,500 in 2 weeks. Let's just play him on Ross St. Brown at this price tag while we still have it.
Absolutely.
One of the questions I had was like, is he just the free square?
He might be.
I think the normies haven't caught up yet. And that's one of the things. Like he's like Amon-Ra is not like that superstar elite tier in the media. And the normies don't want to pay up for him. That's my hand in the
Dude, are there even normies left who play DFS, or is it just like exclusively?
Have you seen our YouTube comments?
Sports bet.
Yeah.
We need to do like an audience swap with Barstool. You know, like, can we get them to all come play DFS for a day? We'll go bet on their sports book.
Okay. I think David.
I just hit him on Raw.
Yeah.
So I gotta pick a cheaper play. This is tough because I think you need to save at running back. Let's go Michael Carter against the Bengals for 5,200.
I like that.
We like that. Interesting.
What's the story on Michael Carter?
Plays 60% of the snaps. They have ran the most plays in the NFL through 2 games. Seems like that is likely going to continue.
Is that tough for Peter and his bags for Breece Hall?
No, because we drafted a lot of Michael Carter as well. They were both smash values at their ADPs, Dave.
That's right. Your jet stacks. Forgot about that. All right. So we got a flex and defense left, Tuttle.
Yeah, we're squeezed here, huh?
I can come off Tyreek if necessary. I'm just looking for upside, and he was the guy that provided upside.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of ways to go. Olave would be, again, kind of the chalkier play. Which
maybe some Curtis Samuel in that range.
I mean, you could play Lions D Garrett Wilson.
I wanted to do maybe the Drake double stack or bring it back with Lockett. I wanted that $5,800 price point, David. So if you want,
David, do you hear what he's picking up? Or?
Yeah, I'm picking up what he's putting down.
Yeah,
I think is what you're trying to say.
So
I will go with. Do we think Mike Evans is going to play this week?
Dave,
he's already ruled out.
The Thrasher already made his ruling. It's
Okay,
been upheld.
Sorry. I know we were waiting on that today, but so I will. Can I switch out Tyreek with Perryman, and then let's just go crazy?
Jesus. Okay, yeah, we'll stick with
I thought we
Tyreek
were
on that.
going Tyreek to Waddle.
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, that's like the logical
Tyreek to
thing, but-
Perriman? We don't need to save that much.
No, we'll just stick Tyreek. I don't want David getting any
What
fancy
the
ideas here.
I was just looking for some value so you could go crazy. We could go.
We have
we'll
plenty
just-
of money if we just go down to Waddle.
Yeah, Waddle's what I would. It's fine with me.
I was fine with you last week. Okay, all right, I change it. All right, let's go to AJ Brown. Let's go AJ Brown.
Okay.
That
That's
gives
fine.
us enough money.
That's fine. Yeah, and then it depends what you want to do. It's a Drake or a Lockett bring back here.
Okay. Which one do you like more, Toto?
I do think the double stack is tough,
Okay.
so I'll go with Lockett.
Go Lockett. That leaves us with Lions defense.
Suppose.
Lockett is probably the right play for this lineup anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Marcus Mariota, Fournette, Carter, Juju, AJB, ASB, KP, TL, Lions.
All right.
Don't do me, bro.
Let's get to running backs, and the zero RB peeps have just been absolutely giddy. The dunked on tweets after every single slate. Can't believe people drafted RB in this range. Here's the RB points compared to the wide receiver points. Imagine. Drafting.
I literally can't even imagine.
Yeah. So I want to know, does this streak continue this week, Peter?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, look at the
kind of
top.
question
Look
is
at the
that?
top running backs. I mean, it's gross out there for those. And Dave, I mean, are we just pouring one out for the big dog?
I think
come
we
to
are
the
right
end of the
now.
road.
I think we are right now.
Can you imagine taking Derrick Henry in the second round of a main event where you started with Justin Jefferson? Because that's what Davis and I did.
Hey, we have the only combo of Justin Jefferson and Derrick Henry in the entire main event, and we can tell ourselves that as we miss the playoffs.
It gets better as the season progresses. You just gotta wait for December.
You just gotta wait. We just gotta hope his foot doesn't re-break.
Jesus.
There
Give us
is
Malik Willis.
if there was any sort of like just competent OC there in town, I still think like he would have some sort of upside, but I just have zero faith.
I thought the whole thing with him was that he doesn't need any of that, and it's just Hember go Burr. Like I literally thought that was the whole thesis,
No.
Dave.
No, the thesis was when you have a physical freak running back who's
That's Hember go Burr.
I think
No, but
you're.
you have
I
to
believe
combine
you are
it.
changing the thesis.
No,
Dave.
you combine it with the just play calling of Arthur Smith, who's now the coach for the Falcons. It was just the perfect recipe. Before Arthur Smith, it was the it's Packers coach.
If we've learned anything, it's Arthur Smith fucking sucks.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, don't try to defend Arthur Smith.
no, he did good with the Titans. They had
He's
the most
using
points
Kyle
in the
Pitts
league.
like he's freaking Anthony Ferkser, dude.
Well, maybe he is. Maybe he's bad.
Out of here.
Maybe he's bad. Maybe all the really he's a wide receiver and a tight end position eligibility. Maybe those are just bad takes. All right. Let's talk though about running backs that you like, Davis. You got
Well, I think it's a pretty interesting week because guys that the fantasy football public does not like are the best value. So Josh Jacobs against the aforementioned awful Tennessee Titans is 5,400. He saw a huge boost of involvement last week, 0 third downs in week 1, then ran more routes than Amir Abdullah last week with Brandon Bolden out. And then David Montgomery, same deal, 5,900 against Houston at home. You are certainly not concerned that he is not going to get the rushing attempts. He could be in a 50-50 split with Khalil Herbert and still probably get 20 rushes in this spot. Then Cook is sort of interesting in the sense that the Minnesota passing game is going to be pretty chalky. And he's been bad, right? Cook has been bad for 2 games. So the hand builders who see, was he averaging like 8.4 points a game or something? A little bit hard to click there. I'm more interested in trying to find a cheap guy who can just get like 11 though, because I just don't want to pay $8,900 for Christian McCaffrey or $9,000 for Jonathan Taylor. Like I'm over it, dude. I just want wide receivers. I just want wide receivers.
Go off,
Tuttle. We've got the situation in Miami, which no one told me about when I was making parlays, and the Edmonds parlay was the only one that didn't hit. I want to know how we are assessing the Miami situation this week.
You stay away because
I disagree.
Mostert's 4,500.
I think Mostert can grind out 8 here.
No.
When you said 11, that's who I
Edmonds
thought
is
of.
still the pass catching guy. You want the pass
Is he though? I don't think he is.
He's not.
100%.
Mostert ran more routes.
No, he didn't.
He did.
Yeah, and Edmonds didn't get any passing work until
Edmonds
Mostert was gassed.
ran one more route. Boom, suck it.
Damn it. I was totally bluffing. I was totally bluffing. I knew Mostert played more, so I knew it was close enough that I was like 50-50 to be right.
And Davis had like
Edmonds is
20% equity that you wouldn't look it up.
Yes, correct. So if it's 50-50 and I don't think Toto will look it up, I got to just say it.
I love
They both got 3 targets. You just stay away because it's going to – Edmonds would be the guy because I think his pass catching role is the safest thing. So if he randomly starts carrying the ball more, then he's clearly the guy. If he doesn't, then Davis did sound so
That's his
I love how Davis uses like his role as an analyst in the same way as a poker player tries to win a hand. It's not just about being right, just about like
Davis doesn't need showdown value with his hands.
No, correct. Showdown. I love this. This is what I am confident in this. He ran way more routes than Damian Harris. He was like 65% of the snaps.
Ramondre Stevenson season. I agree with that.
Completely agree.
But the issue still remains of like having to play a cheap guy, and I just don't know, like, unless you think that Justice Hill is gonna be like, I mean, there's no person under 4,500. Like, I think Mostert is the only guy in that range.
Well, there's very rarely a usable.
You don't have to go that low.
45. I was gonna say Josh Jacobs is the best cheap play.
Yeah,
at 54.
You have Jacobs, you have Montgomery 59.
Yeah, but we are not playing 19% owned Josh Jacobs.
No, I'm just saying like we're 4,500.
Well, Dave will. I would love to see. Dave played the Bengals defense in tournaments last week. I guarantee it.
Yeah, it's a free square.
Big T's thread.
If they go off, they go off. But no, I think that's. Like the Live a Little brand is not endorsed with David Montgomery. I'm sorry, it's just not. It's more we're more in the Raheem Mostert camp for sure.
So the true answer, if you're looking for like a unique lineup construction in tournaments, is people aren't going to pay at running back. People are all going to settle at Fournette and below. You're going to have teams with 6,500 and below at running back. So I think the having to find 4,500 running back, it's the exact opposite. Is you just play the expensive guys.
You gotta. This is actually now that the wide receiver score all the points thesis is like out there. It's gonna be you can't play Jalen Waddle and Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's gonna be you have to play Chris Olave and Greg Dortch so that you can play which I hate. I absolutely hate that. Like, what a miserable way to set up a tournament team.
Imagine if Mariota, C-Mac, and Derrick Henry win someone the million this week. It's just gonna be amazing. All right.
What if that someone's you?
What if? I need to just go ahead and enter my.
You play the Millie, Dave?
I did last week. Yeah, I did good. I did pretty good. I missed on Debo. Like that was the guy I missed out on, and he was like the last piece I really needed. So it was Lamar Bateman. I played Lamar both in cash and GPP. But all right, enough about my success. Let's move on to wide receiver. We've talked about it a little bit, but who's going to be the value wide receiver this week, Peter?
You have like 2 min cashes in the Millie. Enough about my success.
I mean, John, I've seen your sweating videos both Sundays. So,
So
first of all, hold on,
The punt?
real quick. Let's go behind the scenes because you did have a really solid lineup. How high were your hopes for that lineup that you had? Because you had someone got hurt in it, right?
Yeah, we had the Tua premium double stack with Mark Andrews coming back, and we were sitting so pretty. I think.
Judy.
We had Judy, James Conner, and Josh Jacobs.
The afternoon games never score any points ever.
It was brutal.
But it wasn't just brutal. It's the fact that like those first guys that you had just absolutely smashed.
Yeah. But enough about my failures. Let's talk about the wide receiver slate.
Who's the value play this week?
I mean, I'm not seeing like there's
no Dortch really.
You're more in like the mid or the low fives, high fours. You're looking at Russell Gage, Curtis Samuel, Jacoby Myers,
Josh Norris's boy, Zay Jones.
You have to look at Perryman, like, right? Like you have to.
This is the problem. This is the problem with doing that. Does Tom Brady complete 20 passes in this game? I mean, the total has fallen every day. Is down to 40. Both of these teams simply just want to get the hell out of there. Aaron Rodgers, not really interested in playing football. Tom Brady, his wife doesn't want him out there. This is not going to be a good game. Like, it's not going to
I had the Brashad Perryman under because it was one of our plays that we had, and I think in Parlay IQ or expert picks.
Totally.
And it was looking great until Mike Evans got ejected, and then he just started getting targets. Like, I mean,
fantasy douche has now been replaced by parlay douche, which is guy who wants to tell you about the leg of his parlay that missed in some like really unfortunate way. It's an
unfortunate way, but it made me pay attention to it because I listened to the take cast and you guys were talking about how Perryman was a fine play. Like he was fine. He wasn't
like how you
fine.
keep calling the guild cast the take cast.
Whatever.
Second time you've
same
done
thing.
that.
It's the same thing. It's like synonymous, right? Like both tilting of bad information. So as far as Perryman, though, like you've got to pick a receiver. If it's not him, it's somebody else.
What if it's not? What if Tom Brady throws for 186 yards to 8 different guys and Keith scores a touchdown?
Then Davis, make a stance.
I'm not playing any of these guys. Miller would be the one that I would play because he will get some slot snaps, some outside snaps, and has just as much of a chance of catching a deep one as Perryman.
Okay, so Miller would be your cheap guy, your cheap wide receiver of the.
But I don't think he's a good play.
Okay. Tuttle, you used to do the value plays on RotoGrinders. Who are some of the value guys that you're looking at this week?
Nobody that has not been mentioned already. I mean, it's ugly. Maybe we get Alec Pierce back practicing today. Maybe he becomes a thing. Maybe he's somebody you can bring back. But that would be obviously tournament only. Mecole Hardman tournaments, I think that's fine. 4,600.
They're very consciously making an effort to use him in the red zone too. I don't know why. Like, I don't know what could possibly lead them to that, but they are doing it.
Yeah, but it's ugly. I mean, something might open up, but that's why you'll see balanced builds.
There are some not fun plays on here. Like we talk about about the Bucks, but also like the Cardinals. Like if they don't have their full allotment receivers, like Dortch
is still probably fine, yeah.
Or there's another guy who's pretty dust would fall in the Davis Mattek tree.
AJ Green.
Who's hurt?
AJ Green's hurt?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Isabella.
No, AJ Green.
When was AJ Green part of the Davis?
Yeah, how is this part of my brand?
I just feel like with the Watkins play that
Sammy Watkins is 8 years younger than AJ Green. Sammy Watkins is younger than Cooper Kupp.
Here we go. I did not mean to stir up the Watkins love with my take.
3 for 92 last week. That's not good enough for you, bro.
Hang on. Did you and Silva start him in your main event?
No, we started Drake London.
What's the point of rostering Sammy Watkins if you're not going to get that 3 for 92 in week 2?
I mean, Aaron Rodgers leading wide receiver through 2 games, so
you better put him in your lineup next week over Drake London. Flash in the pan.
Our team's too good to start him. Unfortunately, he's contingent value when Alan Lazard goes back to the cemetery.
Hey, Traylon Burks is 4.9K on DK Davis.
I really wish he was like 4.3. I mean, him being priced over Olave is a tough scene.
Okay. All right.
334 air yards, Dave.
Yeah. For that game, though, you kind of have to throw some of the stats of that game.
He has to be redacted behind the token gated Bilo model.
All right, let's build a FanDuel lineup real quick.
Well, wait, I have actually an actual fun game that we could do. You can only if you're playing single entry this week, Tuttle and Pete. You can only play one of the mega elite wide receivers. So Kupp, Jefferson, Diggs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyreek, Adams, et cetera, who the top 10 salary.
Are we factoring in ownership and cost or just in a vacuum?
Yeah, it's single entry, man.
Yeah, single entry, ownership and cost. You can only play one of them.
I'm going Adams right now.
Tuttle.
Is Jamar Chase an option?
Yes, yeah. Any of the stud wide receivers.
Yeah, I'll go Jamar.
I like that the best for the ownership angle because I'm gonna guess he comes in at 4% probably here. I'm gonna chalk donkey it, and I'm just going St. Brown. I don't care. He should be 9,000.
Davis, you skipped me, but I
sorry. I know the people wanted it.
But I would probably say AJ Brown would be the guy.
All good answers.
Okay. All right.
Except mine. Mine was a coward's way out. Mine was not a good answer.
Let's build a FanDuel lineup.
Sosa.
He pulled it up. He's got it up. Sosa, are you there? Can you? I want you to make the first pick.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Sosa.
Yeah.
Come on, bring your footage on screen for this, Sosa.
Hey guys.
Don't screw this up because we've had really good lineups. What's your first pick?
If you're not feeling confident, probably just pick a defense.
No, I don't want to get the slack. I kind of want to go Jalen Hurts.
All right.
Okay. All right.
We'll allow it.
Sosa. We'll allow it.
Thank you, Sosa. Sosa says to like and subscribe for
Road to 10K.
More elite content.
Sosa, next time when you get that chance to shine, you at least do a stack, probably a double stack, and probably a double stack with a bring back if you're getting called up.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hurts, Brown, Dotson.
He just fills out the whole lineup. He's like, I got hard out here too.
Yeah. Davis can do it. All right. Davis, you're next.
Let's go Devonta Smith, squeaky wheel. There was that narrative last week that the team was very aware that he was unhappy with his role after week 1 and they were feeding him on purpose.
And I will say, Davis, I gave you grief over this, but they did try to get Allen Robinson a touchdown.
Oh, they totally tried to get Allen Robinson. It was very obvious what they were trying to do. Yeah.
So okay. We'll play this.
He is getting dominated by Tyler Higbee, though. Like, rest in peace, Allen Robinson in the 4th round. That's dead.
Okay, Pete.
I think we double this. I like Goddard's price at 5,500. Let's do it.
I don't know.
That's good. That's good. That's cheap.
You think double stacking Jalen Hurts is good, though?
The days of having to skinny stack Jalen Hurts are over. Like, this is a completely different.
I'm more thinking like, is Washington going to be good enough to keep them going in even the second half?
Sure, but I don't necessarily like any of the Washington prices.
I'm chasing the Terry McLaurin. I'm chasing it. I don't care.
Well, he's the ownership play, but I'm very worried that Dotson being this good, this fast has pretty much nuked McLaurin, the wide receiver. Like, because the thing with McLaurin was he never was actually an efficient wide receiver. It was just always volume based. And we blamed that on his quarterbacks for a long time. And it's getting harder to blame that on his quarterbacks.
Okay, so we've used, I guess Smith's only 6K. All right, so we still got some salary left. Let's I'm doing it.
That giggle
Oh,
sounds
gosh.
ominous.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Burks?
I'm doing it. No, we're going Christian McCaffrey.
I guess on FanDuel you can play anyone.
I guess on a site with half point per PPR, you just got to jam him.
Joke's on you, Davis. He doesn't even catch passes anymore.
He doesn't do it.
What a cell phone.
That was funny.
He's a better play on FanDuel these days.
The Panthers have ran 4 more plays than the Jets ran in week 1, period. What is Juju Smith-Schuster cost?
You already
Davis, we're
said
not
it in the
breaking it in both.
We can't,
we
man.
We have to diversify.
All right, let's do Olave as our bring back here. Then he'll be less popular on FanDuel.
He'd be a better play on FanDuel.
We're
Better
chasing
play.
after we're chasing after Dalvin here too.
Okay.
Do we have the? I guess you can play anyone.
Yeah, you can play whoever you want on FanDuel. We have 7.6 left if you slot in Bengals D.
So Dalvin, Bengals D.
You can go different defense too if you want to get up to
man.
like,
200 off the Sun God.
yeah.
But we could play Waddle here. Get our Waddle exposure that Kitchen wouldn't let us have on DraftKings.
I don't know why Kitchen hates Jalen Waddle.
I don't hate him. I like Tyreek over Waddle. And Pete did the same thing last week, and it wasn't wrong necessarily.
Well, here's the difference. Last week, Tuttle and I moved us from Waddle to Tyreek Hill. This week, you tried to move us from Tyreek Hill to Brashad Perriman.
I was giving you flexibility. I do think that Perryman is like the cheap wide receiver you want to go to for like an actual ceiling. So there's that. All right.
I will just say about this lineup.
Yeah.
All 1 p.m. guys. No 4 p.m. hammer for Dave.
This screenshot season.
It is.
Yeah. We'll screenshot it and we're going to put it up on the feed at 3:05 local time. Okay. I think that's it. We got to talk about tight end real quick. Any tight ends you guys like?
I do think you accidentally forgetting about tight ends pretty sufficiently
much,
summarizes the state of the position right now.
Well, I got a question for my game theory, bro. Peter Overzet. How is Irv Smith Jr. at 3,100? What at what peon do you just stop considering him?
Yeah, he's probably like, what do you think he's going to end up 25% in a lot of
More.
small field stuff?
More.
I mean, I was two ownerships last week. I was like, I thought we had entered into a new age of DFS. Saquon Barkley at 48% in the Millie Maker, 60% in the Spy.
Fish.
And the Bengals. I mean, the people who play in the Spy should know better. And the Bengals were 50% owned.
I mean, Irv Smith still has a floor of 0. So I would say anything over 10% is going to be too
he
rich
will be over 10%.
Is he going to project that much different than Juwan Johnson? Honestly,
Yes.
Like, what are we doing?
Yes.
But I'm saying just projected points. I'm not saying ownership. I'm just saying
he will.
I'd rather play.
He will. He'll project. Total. How many points do you guys have him for?
Irv Smith. I have an aggregate in right now, 7.92.
Okay.
And tell me Juwan's.
Juwan 7.42.
That's my point.
Okay. I might be a smidge high on Irv.
Well, to your point, though, I think that's how people will react, right? Primetime game, saw him dominate, saw him get a huge target share. I don't think it's a sustainable
saw him
target share.
drop a 61-yard touchdown.
In a game that Jefferson struggled, like I think your take won't be uncommon, but I don't know.
Well, I would just say, like, what game has the opportunity to go off? Is it New Orleans and Carolina or Minnesota and Detroit, or versus Detroit? Like, I like Irv this week, Davis. I agree. That's it's gonna be
everyone likes him.
No, obviously not, because Peter doesn't really like him.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not.
I think that's the recipe for success as well. So,
oh wow.
All right.
The Kitchen Davis allegiance now.
That's right. Cool. All right. So you have to go with, it is funny because we're like the value hounds on these plays. It's funny how things turn out from best ball season.
The problem is there's no Dortch this week. A Dortch, Richie James would really kind of make everything. We need a running back injury. We need one of these. We need one of these running backs.
Need a running back injury.
A running back suspension.
We need that. You'll get canceled.
We need a running back to like not show up to practice and get disciplined.
We got Raheem Mostert starting running back for the Miami Dolphins.
Like imagine playing a 9% owned Raheem Mostert though. No, thank you.
Okay, Tuttle, we haven't had your terrible take yet, and the people are demanding it.
Okay, so the issue here that we've run into with terrible takes is you guys just want like really shitty players.
No, we don't.
That is not true.
No, not at all.
It's true. I couldn't say like Drake London.
You're projecting.
I will completely allow Drake London. I mean, you should
Drake
just
London
make
was
this...
it last week, but I got shit for that. I wanted to be Ramondre Stevenson, but I feel like you guys are going to push back on that.
No,
Tuttle,
that's totally allowed.
Yeah, Tuttle.
So what I was going to do is I was going to give two low-owned plays. One can be like actually have a chance of hitting. The other one's just a terrible, terrible play. But Marquise Goodwin's going to score a touchdown this week.
Okay, that's a terrible take. I love it.
Yeah, that's a terrible take.
Ramondre Stevenson is like the guy that I would rather,
Okay.
stand behind. But but Marquise Goodwin's going to score a touchdown this week.
So that's our bring back for my Mariota doubles.
There you go, Marquise.
Right.
People
like
don't know, but Marquise Goodwin was once the fastest player in the NFL. Track star. Okay, final thoughts, Davis.
Just don't let the Detroit, Minnesota, Buffalo, Miami game distract you from the fact that the best quarterback in the NFL has a 29-point team total in a dome, and none of his wide receivers cost more than $5,500.
Okay, Peter.
It's Kyle Pitts now or ever, or never. We go down. Now it was a Freudian slip to say it's Kyle Pitts now and forever because I'm playing him every week until the day I die.
All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in, commenting. Leave some comments on this video. We'll read them on the show next week. And also make sure that you're subscribing because we are going to get to 10K next week. We're getting to 4,200, I hope. Peter, great show, man. Honestly, like it was a really good show. And let me just say to everybody who's 0-2 out there, like Peter, I just want to say every week is an individual event. You can't carry last week with you this week. I can't carry the past 2 successful weeks I've had into week 3. You have to go into it with a completely different.
But enough about Dave's success.
Right. So that's what I want just to reiterate is that week 3 is a brand new slate, and I want us to all get after it. And I think that's it. Special thanks to Sosa for producing the show. Everyone tuning in. We'll see you next week, week 4 on the Swolecast on RotoGrinders.com. Peace.